Hey guys, welcome back to the Existential Vegan. Today I want to show you how to make my easy anti-cancer probiotic ferment. Basically we'll be making sauerkraut with onion and garlic in it. These are flavors I like anyways. The difference is the proportions. And here's the ingredients. 1 red cabbage, 1 red onion, 1 bulb of garlic. But before we get started, what is fermentation? Let's get an understanding of the fermentation process by the world's foremost expert, Sandor Katz, from this beautiful vintage footage.
Sauerkraut has traditionally been used as a means of preserving cabbage and other vegetables. In addition to preserving the vegetables, it actually enhances the nutritional value of them. It makes them more digestible, it makes them extremely delicious, and it populates them with living bacteria that go on to live in our digestive system and enable us to effectively digest all of the other food that we eat. It's really easy to make. Essentially, it is just chopping vegetables, adding a little bit of salt, stuffing them in a jar, and waiting.
Okay, let's talk about supplies for a minute. What we absolutely need is a knife and a decent jar. This is a Fido jar. Not mandatory is the glass weight and this piece of dehydrator screen. So bare minimum, knife and a decent jar. And let's talk about jars for a minute. This is a Fido jar made in Italy. Even this very good jar is not that expensive. It's like $5. But it has a great seal. It's perfect for making sauerkraut. Up in the corner, while I'm talking here, I'm going to show some kits that you can get on Amazon that are also very good. I happen to have them, and they work great too. So a Fido jar or some of the kits you're looking at will work as well. But minimum, a knife and a decent jar, and we're all set to go. So here we have representatives of the cruciferous family and the allium family, both of which rank highest in cancer fighting and preventative properties. The red color in the cabbage and onion come from the powerful antioxidant anthocyanin. Anthocyanins have been shown to slow cancer growth, kill already formed cancer cells, and stop the formation of new cancer cells. Then there's the anti-cancer superstar garlic. In an experiment designed to find out which vegetables fight and prevent cancer the best, garlic won out almost every time. Dr. Greger shows us the results.
Number 1 against breast cancer, garlic. Number 1 against brain tumors, garlic. Number 2 against kidney cancer, lung cancer, garlic. Childhood brain tumors, garlic. Pancreatic cancer, garlic. Prostate cancer, and stomach cancer, garlic.
And for those of you who are afraid that garlic might kill healthy cells as well, that's simply not the case. Check this out.
As you can see, garlic slams cancer cells, but doesn't touch normal cells. And the same thing with pretty much all the vegetables. They're selective. They go after the cancer cells, but leave the normal cells alone.
Okay guys, we're ready to get chopping. I'm going to wash the cabbage and peel away the outer leaves. You guys might want to save the outer leaves for later, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. And then I'm going to chop everything else up. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so I just chopped up the onion and garlic, and I made a coffee. But what I like about using a knife is that you have complete control over the thickness of your vegetables. I have the onions cut at about 1/4 inch, and check out this garlic. I got it cut up in chunks. Check this out. Isn't that pretty? Anyways, let's get to the cabbage. Okay guys, so we've washed the cabbage and taken off the outer leaves, and now we're going to cut it up. And I want to show you a really easy way of cutting up a cabbage and dealing with the core. But first of all, you see the core there. And what we're going to do is cut down the right side of the core. Then we're going to cut down the left side of the core. And then we'll deal with each piece individually. So we have our cabbage cut in 3. And what I'm going to do is remove this core here. And then I'll show you how we deal with this piece. Okay, as you can see, I've already dealt with this offending piece of core that was on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, you see the core there, how it runs up that way? I'm just going to cut it on an angle like that and like that. And we'll toss this piece here in the garbage. And you'll have something that looks like this. And I put this middle piece on edge, these 2 pieces here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along this way, all the way across in 1/4 inch strips. And we'll be done. So this is the end result. Again, about 1/4 inch strips. And this is ready to go into a big pot. But what I'm going to do, as I'm putting this stuff into a pot, I'm going to look for really thick pieces like this. And something like that I'll probably toss. You know, something like this I might cut a little bit more. So it's going to take an extra 5 minutes rooting through this. But yeah, it's going to go into a big pot. And I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so now it's time for the fun part. What we're going to do is we're going to add our onion to the cabbage here. We're going to add our garlic. And we're going to add our salt. Now the big question is, how much salt do we add? Now I'm going to put up in the screen up in the corner actually a full picture of a chart I made for you to figure out how much salt based on weight to put in your sauerkraut here. My vegetables happen to weigh 3.7 pounds, so I'm going to be adding about 6.5 teaspoons of salt. But check the chart, and something interesting is, you know, you don't have to be exact. Okay, I'm going to play some footage for you of Sandor Katz talking about salt with vegetables and stuff in a minute when you're fermenting. And he's a little loosey-goosey when it comes to the salt. You know, he says stuff like salt to taste. But I'll play that for you, and I'll see you in a bit.
As I chop the vegetables, I lightly sprinkle salt. The key is sprinkling the salt lightly, because at the end we'll mix it all together and taste it, and let taste be our guide.
Okay, so can you see how much this is reduced and all the liquid that's come out? So this is just about ready to be stuffed into our jar. And what I'll do, for the sake of time as well, is I'll show the stuffing of the jar up in the corner. And while I'm finishing this off here, we'll talk about 2 things. One, the gloves I'm wearing. You don't have to wear gloves. I like to wear gloves, really, because when I make this stuff, I like to give it away. I have friends that like this anti-cancer one in particular, and I'm sure they appreciate having some sauerkraut that doesn't have skin cells in it. And the other thing is a food processor. And yes, absolutely use a food processor if you want to. I plan on making a big batch on the weekend, and I'll be using my food processor to save time. So I'm going to stuff the jar now, and some closing thoughts. Okay guys, so what we need to do now is just keep this under the brine. So what we're going to do is we could use one of those leaves that we saved, fold it up and put it in the top of the jar here. We're not going to do that because I have this dehydrator screen. So we're going to put that in, and what else do I need to tell you? How long to ferment? I'm going to put a chart up right here, and full fermentation takes place in 28 days. You don't have to let it go that long, but that's how long I'm going to leave it for. And what else? You're going to want to ferment it in a dark place at room temperature, so you can put it on a shelf and keep it covered up with a towel, which is what I'm going to do. And as it's fermenting, some of this liquid is going to bubble up out the edges. That's okay, just wipe it off. Do not open the jar. And I don't even think I need to put the glass weight in. That's good and solid. That's good and solid like that. So yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the glass weight. That's fitting in nicely. So there you have it guys, the anti-cancer ferment. I hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the video and learned something. And have a great week. Bye guys.